Come on, Doc. Let me read this. It says, Houston
Looks like we got us another hit. Yep.
infamous
Good
McDonald's.
loyalty.
Houston infamous McDonald's by the downtown Greyhound bus station has finally closed. So McDonald's restaurant comes and go, but one particular location closure has longtime Houston residents reeling. The infamous Arches on Main Street next to downtown's Greyhound bus station came down over the winter break. Commenters on two different Reddit threads were quick to point out the location's less than stellar reputation, including a few of its nicknames, Crack Donald's, McStabby, and Chaos McDonald's, for examples. Those sentiments are largely reflected by the Chronicle and the Houston Post's coverage on the restaurant, its surrounding area over several decades. Stories of homelessness, prostitution, murder, and shootings made up the majority of the archives. So I know you guys got to know this McDonald's.
I definitely do, and because there's been people that's come to visit, and they come right through. My mom would come on the bus because she's not driving, and she would come visit, whatever, and going over there, like there was no way some like one or two people, not just one person. There's gonna be two or three people that's gonna try to hit you up for some change. That's gonna be trying to sell you something. That's gonna be like it was always something
And it
going
literally
on.
stinks.
And
That
that's
whole
inside the building.
that and that whole block stinks. It stinks of urine, human feces. It's really terrible.
More than human.
It's
There's bats up underneath those, some of those crossovers in that area right there, up underneath some of those highways.
and it's dangerous. My son came to visit me a year,
Christmas.
2 years ago. I don't remember. And he was leaving out, and he left out through that Greyhound bus station, and I had to drop him off. And I didn't even want to walk away from my damn car when I parked on the curb and shit. And I'm from the hood. I'm not scared of these dudes, but I just know how the game goes, and I know how things are and shit. Like, what can we do about this? What kind of situation? Why is it like that? And why has nothing? It's been like that as long as I can remember, too. That little area is really dangerous.
Because people come through there with money. You coming in and off the bus. You got businessmen coming through there grabbing coffee and McDoodles on the way to work. The cars have to stop there, so you got plenty of panhandling time. I mean, it's just logistically a really good place, and people will throw money out their window so you don't run up on them.
Just for you to
And,
hurry and get the hell away from 'em.
and a lot of people, I think they
I
don't have
worked that
anywhere
area a
to
little bit.
they don't have anywhere to go, and then they come to Houston on the bus, and then they don't make it any further than that little area right there. So they have nowhere to go.
Well,
So
yeah, it's also full of people picking up sex trafficking for kids and teenagers trying to pick up runaways.
yeah, because I'm saying
I mean,
here goes another story of because I mean I have a heart, but at the same time is some things just becomes too much, and my frustration, like I try to deal with it, and maybe since I know I'm gonna be there for a short period of time, I just like, okay, I'm gonna do what everybody else does. All right, here's $2, here's $5, here's whatever it is. So when my mom is here and I'm picking her up, I can make it less unsafe for her. Like I can at least try to make it as safe as possible. I mean, I said make it I say lessons, but make it so that we can get through this whole situation without any real problems. But like, bro, like y'all need to get the hell from around here.
Yeah. So, but what are the solutions to this? What can they do to make the area safer for people and not so terrible and not such like a homeless hub or attraction or whatever?
it's
'Cause-
simple. Gentrification.
Mm.
I mean, look at the quote right there. Now we need to get the bus station out of Midtown.
Mm. Well, where they gonna get off the bus at?
What do you think they're going to do? They'll build a big multi-million-dollar facility somewhere at one of the edges of town, probably at the end of the rail route, which, if you notice, the rail route also pretty much cuts through the worst parts of town.
But there ain't no coincidence with that. They moved out the people who,
It was
you know,
a lot of times it's purposely done that way because
yeah.
the people who needs these services usually are those who can't afford to have their own transportation. Now, of course, there's people who got money that rides the bus, but or even the rail system, but it's also those that that can mess up that whole system real quick because you know they're intruding on other people's rights by they've made this place a new home so that they can sit there and try to scam people and this, that, and the other. Like, let's we know what type of stuff goes on out here. It's not like people, defenseless people who just end up getting used out here. No, these are people that came out here to use people.
Yeah, but it's set up for failure. Like the train, the rail system was set up for failure from Jump Street. How they did it, where they put it, all of that. And the damn train is actually pretty damn nice. If it wasn't for when you get off of the damn train, you smell urine, like all the way down the damn train, and it goes all the way through the hood.
I wonder where that's coming from.
So, but
these wonderful people that are home free.
But they didn't want the train to be really functionable. It doesn't really. It's not. It should have been a much bigger project. They should have done it differently. They could have ran it through different areas, and they could have ran it all over the city. So words that people, but they only want poor, broke people to ride the train. It's like it's punishment.
They want. No. Because I think the good intentions were there in the beginning because, they're trying to make a transportation available. It's to pretty much whoever can use it, but at the same time, it's mostly, it ends up being more people who can't afford these systems. So I don't think that they purposefully made it so that it would end up the way it has.
I think so. I really think they never had good intentions. They didn't want people with money to be using the train because then if they did, then they would have to do the facilities much better. They would have to make the system much better so that everybody.
Rich people don't use the train. Rich people drive or get driven.
And that's my point. It's the way the city is drawn, the way the city is made. But it doesn't have to be that way. Other cities around the country.
So doing a diagonal across downtown with each end of the lines reaching out to crossing bus lines from the poorest parts of the city was not a good idea.
The train could have went. They could have did like the Beltway. They could have did a train that went around the city.
They pitched that idea and it got voted down by the people because it cost too much.
Yeah, well then that's the argument that they make every time because it's gonna benefit.
Maybe because the people keep friggin' voting it down.
Because people are stupid and they don't really understand. And then it's all about fucking money.
No, it's because they go on a crusade. Oh, well, this is going to go through this neighborhood. Oh, this is going to go through that neighborhood. Oh, this is going to displace these black people. Oh, this is going to displace this community of ducks.
Well, they don't worry about that part. But no, a lot of times it's them getting
we're going to run through it.
The rich people being protected because they don't want any and everybody to be able to come through their neighborhood.
There's also property values drop everywhere along the rail too.
That's not really necessarily true either. Look how many businesses. Yeah. There's a bunch of businesses that sprung up along the train and they're doing great.
But only at train drops and stops, not the rest of the area. And the property value does not go up, just business value.
Well, look, I'm gonna tell you, just like what the situation we was talking about a little while ago, like the homeless lady that got sprayed, like she chose to stay in that area because people were nice to her in that area. And then at some point, it's just like, okay, look, we were nice to you. Why do you have to, you know, ruin my space?
They don't want to spend money on any kind of social programs. They don't want to spend money on anything that's gonna like move us forward. I remember when they were pitching the rail,
Well,
and I thought it was a
heard
great idea, but it cost too much money, so that's why they did this half-ass shit that doesn't really work, and it was set up to fail from jump. Doing what we do 3 to 4 nights a week. King Chaka ENT.
I got this.
From the
She
back
starts
seat.
shooting.
That dude was like, ow.
What was that?
Outside the car,
That nigga
deputies'
got
body
popped.
cameras capturing the bullets flying through the air.
We got shots fired
couldn't
up
have been
here.
a straight
We need
shot. It had
backup
to be-
immediately. Start
Are you-
EMS. Start EMS.
What
We got
the
a
fuck?
civilian. We got a civilian hit.
The deputy.
Looks like we got us another hit. Yep.